On this edition of Talking Preps, we are joined by Heath Neal, the head girls basketball coach at Pea Ridge High School. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey Blair, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey, you bet. First off, I want to congratulate you because the All-Star coaches were announced this week, and you were named the assistant to the West girls team. Congratulations. What does that honor mean to you?
No, personally and professionally, I'm very humbled and blessed. Obviously, those coaches that I've been listed with, there's I'm sure there was more deserving than me, but it was just an honor to be listed with those coaches. All those coaches are state title winners, and so hopefully one day that I can join that list. But I'm thankful for the opportunity, and it's unfortunate we didn't get to go down and spend that time together and get to play with our kids and coach our kids. But um, it's just humbling that the AAA is still going forward with it and nominating all those great athletes and coaches.
No question about that. I thought that was nice that they went ahead, even though the game is won't be played, unfortunately, but to honor the coaches and the kids because I mean it's just something they've worked hard for. They should be rewarded for that.
Absolutely, that AAA got it right. Anytime that something like this has happened, and um, there could be nothing that takes place. And I think that by recognizing those athletes that put hours of commitment and work and effort to their coaches and their program and their community, they deserve to be uh, recognized and very much just to be a part of that recognition. I'm very humbled about it.
Well, speaking about your team and how are you dealing with the pandemic? How do you keep the kids involved and keep everybody on the same page? I know it was maybe easier early when it first started, but has it proven tougher as this thing has gone on?
For sure, I think we're over a month now, and so trying to maintain the level of um, I guess attention to detail that we did at the very beginning of the start of this. Luckily, we just came out of season, so we were for our kids. We have those multi-sport athletes who are going on to play softball or track, um, and so we really didn't have to hit it just so hard. We still had our off-season kids that are just solely basketball that we've put. We break our season down into a six calendar deal where we go preseason, or excuse me, off-season, preseason, in season one, and then we go off-season, preseason, in season two. And so our kids know that calendar, and so our off-season kids were going through um, our normal off-season one and started on that. And so we built kind of like a virtual online program for them that our coaching staff, all the way down to seventh grade, is tracking and trying to keep up with kids. And then here, actually, next week, we'll actually bring in those multi sport athletes who would technically still be in, softball and track and start integrating them into our off-season program and then get ready to move towards preseason once AAA decides kind of what direction we're going to go after they open this thing back up.
Yeah, and talking about that, we see on the Twitter page as I pull it up, one of the drills you're all doing. This is fascinating. How did you come up with this?
I think it's just I stumbled across it during COVID. I think the amount of communicating and networking through social media with the coaching world and coaching profession has been so fun to watch. Even though we're stuck at home, but the amount of stuff being shared right now throughout the coaching world is just phenomenal. And if you're not learning right now, you're losing a big opportunity because this is a great opportunity for coaches to share and steal from each other. This right here, I stumbled upon it on social media. This company actually gave free access to individuals and teams for this time period, and I think they've extended it out to the end of May, and that may get extended out even farther. But we took advantage of that, got our teams involved all the way down to seventh grade. This is only just one small segment of our off-season program. So one of the things that you lose when you don't have that one-on-one coach to player um, practice relationship, you have to figure out ways that you can still push forward. And so, like one of our segment is competitive drills. Well, if we're in regular season or off season, and we're into a segment where we're competing constantly, we're trying to drive home the the will to win and never like to lose, and trying to compete between player and player and transition that over to when we play other teams. And so, in order for us to do that virtually, we had to be creative and figure out how to do that. And so, this was an app that it did time and score. And so now you see our kids getting online. It's kind of like a Twitter feed. This will pop up, and our kids get to see their score. And so now our kids go, well, Josie got 125. I got to get 126. And so the next beat will be the next player trying to beat her score. And our junior high kids have really taken off on this at the lower level. One, it's really good skill. I mean, it's somewhat basic drills, but they're still competing. It wasn't necessarily for our coaching staff to go, oh, that's really not a complex drill for our kids. It was more or less of we're trying to compete and compete against each other still, even though we're not in the gym with each other.
That's really amazing. That's really cool too. It keeps everybody involved and uses technology, which is I think is something coming out of all this. Is maybe technology is going to be even play a bigger role in coaching, don't you think?
Oh, for sure. Anytime, I guess I try to always try to look at the glass half full. This is a bad situation, and yes, it's frustrating, and sometimes we look at ourselves like I'm ready to get back to work and I'm miserable, but we're also trying to take advantage of every opportunity that comes about. And so I've had conversations with my staff during our staff meetings about this is a good thing, and so there's a lot of goods that are going to come out of this because we've actually been able to extend this down to our youth league programs and basically show our youth league coaches and our younger athletes all the way down to third grade, kind of what our high school program and junior high program is doing. It kind of gives them a sneak peek of what to expect as they move up in grade level. And so there are some big time positives that, that we've built through this virtual, I guess, virtual setting, if you want to call it.
And also, the kids are used to the technology too, so they're more likely to embrace it too, don't you think?
It comes easy to them. I think it's very simple for them. I think the only thing that is lacking is that validation from the coach. I know that in sports, anytime you do something well, or in life in general, anytime you do something well, you want that validity that you're doing it right and that you're progressing, and they want that. And our kids need that. They need that validation that hey, coach thinks I'm doing this well, and so this was one way for us to see them and through that app, and obviously we're using some other techniques as well, but I think that's the only thing that's being missed. But as far as the technology and the learning curve, there is none. And in some ways, they're smarter than me with this stuff. So um, we're just trying to take advantage of it, try to be cutting edge on what they have for or what they know already, and try to progress so we don't look like we're not falling behind with some of those other things that just building all this stuff we've had to stay a step ahead of them. We don't want to fall behind on it.
One of the great things about where you're at, Pea Ridge, is the sense of community there. I mean, they support the high school programs and I mean, it's such a feel of community there that I think is unique. And it just, talk about what that means as a coach to have that kind of community support, because not every high school coach is as fortunate to have the community support that you have.
This this will be my eighth year in Pea Ridge. My fifth as a head girls coach. I was 3 years under Coach Lloyd in the boys program, and one of the things that goes without, you know, you can't explain it, is that the community supports and backs the school. And I mean, we've had some tragic situations over the last couple of years with loss of students. a kid that had cardiac arrest a couple years ago, and it was really close to our program. And you just watch a community just come around the school as one. And you still have that, what I call a small town feel, even though we're still growing tremendously. Um, uh, to to say that it starts with our administration. Number one, my high school principal, former coach, my assistant principal, former coach, AD, former basketball coach, superintendent, former basketball coach, and so we have that athletic mindset in the school and understand the importance of athletic, but also understand the importance of teaching and creating this culture around P Ridge that sets us apart. I mean, we've got a phenomenal brand. I think this open on the other side. This logo is recognized throughout our state now, and that's huge. Anytime you mention the Blackhawks, I think they know where we're located. Where probably 10 years ago we may not have been. And that starts with our staff and our community, our teachers, and our coaches, staff, and our athletes of the commitment that they put towards us. And we feel like over the last, I know since I've been here, I feel like we've built something special. And that's not just me. There's Trent Lloyd, Tony Travis, Stephen Neal, Kevin Ramey, and Jessica Woods, and John King, and those people who have led programs in our district that have done phenomenal things for not only their kids but this community as well. And I'm blessed to raise a family. I've got about to be a 2-year old, and so we feel like we live in one of the best places in the state. I feel like I've got one of the best jobs in the state, and I just try to work hard every day not to take that for granted.
Yeah, you mentioned all the leadership there in P Ridge. Not only great leaders, but great people as well, and that makes a huge difference.
For sure, 100%.
All right, we've got a little break here. How about taking our quick quiz? Are you ready?
Sure.
All right, here we go. Most likely to take the family first to get a haircut or to a restaurant?
I would take them out to a restaurant.
Any particular one you're thinking?
Uh, we like, yeah, we're pretty simple. um, I like, oh gosh, you put me on the spot here. What's the place down by the lake that's like the old country? Um,
Oh,
I can't. It's like a country. It's like a mom and pop where you actually get served fried chicken and
Montanay Inn.
Monday Inn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can't.
that's where if we were going to go for something special, that's where for sure. That's the money.
That would be a good one. Can you play a musical instrument?
Cool fact about Coach Neal. Coach Neal was a trumpet player all the way up until ninth grade.
Nice. More likely to grill, beef, chicken, or pork?
Man, all of the above. We cook a lot of chicken. We grill a lot of chicken in our family.
Hey, we'll accept all three. That's a good answer. I like that one. All right. Name the last movie you saw in a theater.
Oh, probably Frozen 2.
Oh, excellent. And finally, what have you spent more time doing, cleaning the garage or doing yard work?
That's a tough one because I've actually since COVID done both. Um, I'd probably say recently we've cleaned out the garage, but I mean I've got almost an acre of land, so I spend a lot of time doing yard work. So I'd probably spend more time doing yard work.
Wow, impressive. You're probably ahead of the pack having done both. Most everybody's
Yeah,
either done one or
my
the other.
honeydew list has been about this big over this COVID deal. So
Yeah, it's gotten pretty big. What's the one thing during this that's maybe you? I mean, no one's really enjoyed it, but what have you enjoyed most during this downtime?
that one's easy for me. Obviously, the family time. I think if you would ask anybody in your interviews what the most important thing would be during this time, and that's spending time with family. There's so many times, and my kids know this, is like throughout the year, I spend all of my time with my second family in basketball and my girls. And so, and my wife has to bring, her time with me is usually done in the gym and with our daughter Hazel. And so, we spend a lot of family time within the basketball gym, and it's been so much fun. And she's at a fun age. My little one's is a fun age, and to be at home and be able to play with her and watch her. And I mean, just in the month and a half we've been home, I've seen developmental progress from her just as she's growing to her age. And so it's been a lot of fun, that family camaraderie time, and watching my little one grow up.
Yeah, you can't beat times like that. Do you
No.
think as a result of this, we're just going to appreciate the games for just being games and a distraction, and maybe not worry so much on the outcome like maybe previously before all this hit?
I think I think obviously there's going to be a big sense of we could lose this at any moment. You look back at some of the seniors now, and they didn't even get their senior season in softball and track, and and so unfortunate. But I think moving forward, there's going to be that sense of one tremendous respect for the game and what you're doing. I would hope that it brings a sense of urgency in some sense, like at any point this could be taken away. And when you're Coach Neal's age, you want to make sure that you had every opportunity possible to make every memory that you could, and you want to make sure you give it your A game every day. And for me personally, I think that you know that's what I hope to continue to press forward, even though after this stuff is all done, is that you know, I look down at Brad Johnson at Farmington, and Brad Johnson's sitting the day before he plays his final game. Vic Rimmer and Tom Hallmeyer, the same thing, and they didn't get that opportunity. And that for Brad, that was an opportunity he'd been looking forward probably his whole life. And those are so many special moments that you have the chance to be a part of, and then it just all of a sudden just gets taken away. And so I think that overall, looking forward is just taking everything in, to enjoying the moments, because at any point we don't know if this stuff come back. We don't know if injury or whatever, and it could be taken away. And so I think just being humbled, and just enjoying the process the most, and enjoying the camaraderie with your teammates, and giving and staff, for me, enjoying everything I do with my staff, and knowing that I want to give my A game every day, because it could be it. I mean, it could be we don't get this opportunity again for the rest of the year, and that happened to a lot of people this year, unfortunately.
Yes, and hopefully we'll all take a little more time and appreciate everything for what it's worth. No doubt.
For
Very well
sure,
said.
for sure.
Well, sir, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully next time we chat, we can talk some Lady Hawk basketball and what's going to be
Absolutely.
coming up this season.
I look forward to it. It's not about me; it's about them. I didn't, I want that. That's what I appreciate you interviewing me, because not only is it just brings spotlight to our school district and my kiddos, obviously for what they did this year and being an Elite Eight team, and we've got most of our pieces coming back, and so we're excited to see what happens in the future if we get a future. And so, Blair, thank you for having me. I appreciate all the things that Mascot Media does. You guys have labeled your brand, and it's very well known, and so I'm just happy to be a part of that.
Oh, thank you, Heath. Thank you for those kind words. All the best to you and your family, and we will talk with you soon.
Thanks, Blair.